Hello students, in the previous class we have studied the biologically control, that is biocontrol, how the microorganisms are normally involving in the controlling pests and the insects. Instead of using insecticides and pesticides, why don't we use the organisms or the insects which are supposed to be kill the various pests and the insects. So I will repeat that what we have studied, the 5 organisms or the insects what we have studied. Number 1, you can see that how we are controlling the mosquito population. We are going to control the mosquito population by means of introducing the dragonflies. Ladybird is there. It is also involving like beetle. Ladybird, that is the beetle. It is normally involving to kill the aphids or the plant pest. So apart from that, even we have observed about the BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. This BT is normally helpful for the killing the caterpillar larva, the butterfly. So explanation also it has been done that how it is available in the market, how we are going to be used. And later on, we also observed that trichoderma is also there. It is a fungus. It is normally useful in the root-borne disease. So now root-borne disease, to avoid root-borne disease, we are normally introducing the trichoderma. It is a fungus. Lastly, what we have observed that the baculoviruses are there. Baculoviruses are the species-specific and insecticidal that what we have observed, and narrow spectrum. So now species-specific means usually they are killing only certain organisms. Other organisms they are normally unharmed. That's what we have studied. And now apart from that, these are the baculoviruses which is normally found in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. So baculovirus which are normally found in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. They belong to the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. So now these are the specific organisms which are normally found or desired characters. So usually you can observe that we have to preserve such kind of the organisms. That is in the form of integrated pest management. That what we have discussed already. Pest management system, integrated pest management. Baculovirus, it is normally found in the genus, that is the Nucleopolyhedrovirus. These are species specific, narrow spectrum, and even you can see that the insecticide applications, they are going to be found, you can observe that. That is why such kind of the organisms we are normally preserved under the integrated pest management system. That is what we are saying it as an IPM. So these are normally considered as a biocontrol agents. Ladybird or the beetle, red and black markings, dragonflies we have observed that, trichoderma we have observed, BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. Already I told you that BT is normally introducing in the genes of certain plants which are considered as a disease resistant plant. Right from the birth itself. So no disease have been found. One of the important genetic engineering we are going to form that BT cotton. So this is an example what we have observed that. BT also I told you that they are normally found in the form of sachet, that the dried spores introduced in the water, so that water has to be sprayed. So ultimately what will happen here? Whenever we are normally spraying, the caterpillar larvae is normally collecting such kind of the poisonous substances and ultimately death of the organism which may take place or caterpillar which may take place, and they are normally not harming others. So like this what we have observed that biocontrol agents are useful. So next, lastly we are going to observe that how the microorganisms used in the biofertilizers. Lastly we are observing that microorganisms as biofertilizers. as biofertilizers. This is the last part that what we are observing here, microorganisms as biofertilizers. So, what is meant by the term biofertilizers? Biofertilizers, you know that biologically we are preparing the fertilizers. So now, so far what we are using that NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, that what we have observed that NPK. These are the chemical fertilizers we are applying in the soil so that ultimately what will happen? Soil pollution is taking place. When we are applying continuously the chemical substance in the soil, as we have discussed in the previous class, I told you that. So even though they are not polluting the soil, they are also polluting the entire environment. They are also polluting the water environment. How it is, whenever rain occurs, the topsoil has to be eroded. When the erosion of the topsoil is to be taking place, then the aquatic organisms are also collecting the poisonous substances. The poisonous substances in the form of chemicals. That is why we can observe that to avoid that, why don't we use biofertilizers? Biofertilizers are normally enriching the nutrient of the soil. Soil nutrients are increased. So usually you can observe that farmers are nowadays they are demanding more and more biofertilizer itself and replenishing the soil also. Why? Because to enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. Because we have to allow the soil, automatically it has to be making the enrichment of the nutrient. So otherwise what will happen? Continuously we are using this 1 or 2 years. It is not possible to grow any plants. That is why normally we are switched on to the biofertilizers. Biologically we have to prepare the fertilizers. That is what we are observing. Biologically means what? Certain organisms are there. Naturally present organisms are there. They are able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. That's what we are supposed to be studying here. Microorganisms itself, they are normally enriching the soil, but we are not allowing them. It may take time, but now here urgently we require. So because of this condition, normally we are applying more and more chemical fertilizers. Pollution, and even you can observe that the person who is spraying the chemicals, he is also normally collecting more and more the polluted materials or the pollutants. So respiratory diseases are also going to be taking place. So now what we are observing that biofertilizers. We are using biofertilizers, then we are protecting the nature. So now biofertilizers. First what we are observing that who are normally making the biofertilizers. As we have discussed in the chapter that microorganisms. So like that, bacteria, number 1. Bacteria. Number 2. Fungi. Number 3, Cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria. Microorganisms are just what we are observing that we are there, which are supposed to be useful for fixation of nitrogen. Nitrogen fixation in some of the cases, like fungi, it is going to perform the different functions. So now, bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria. So these are normally making the enrichment of the nutrient of the soil. Right. Now first one we are moving toward the bacteria. Bacteria, you can observe that there are different kinds of bacteria. Other is small a, that what we are observing that rhizobium. Rhizobium. B. Azotobacter. Azotobacter. Next C. Azospirillum. Azotobacter, next C, Azospirillum. What actually happens here? Rhizobium, Azotobacter, Azospirillum. These are the 3 bacteria there, which are supposed to be the main function of this is. Main function is N2 fixation. The main function of this is nitrogen fixation. Muru bacteria, the main function is fixation of the nitrogen. How the atmospheric nitrogen has to be fixed, that we are going to be observed. Nitrogen fixation. Rhizobium, Azotobacter, Azospirillum. Habitat is different where they are present, but the function is supposed to be same. The first one we are observing that rhizobium. Rhizobium is the bacteria which are supposed to be present in the root nodules. These are the roots what we are observing, that rhizobium of bacteria which are normally present in the root nodules. These are considered as nodules. Nodules in the Greek. These are called as nodules. Rhizobium of bacteria which are supposed to be present in the root nodules of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants. They are present in the roots of leguminous plants. Leguminous plants are they like dicot plants and all those things. Groundnut, that what we are observing, that in the roots we are observing that small nodules, bulbous structures are going to be found. They are nothing but the nodules. That is why rhizobium is normally found in the roots of leguminous plants in the form of nodules. Bulb-like structures are going to be found here. What is the main important function of that? The main important function is fixation of the nitrogen. Normally they are fixing the atmospheric nitrogen in the form of nitrate. They are normally fixation of the nitrogen which will take place in the form of nitrate. This is what we are observing in the rhizobium. Rhizobium is the bacteria present in the root nodules of the leguminous plants. The very important function is fixation of the nitrogen. Nitrogen fixation is going to be taking place. On an average, you can observe that around 100 to 150 kg per hectare, they are normally fixing the nitrogen. That much amount of you can observe that. 100 to 150 kg per hectare is going to be fixed the atmospheric nitrogen. So these are the natural organisms that what we are observing, that nature itself normally giving the sufficient amount of the organisms which are present here. So instead of this, we are suppressing the organisms. Natural lagi ಏನು availability ಇರುತ್ತದೆ, we are not normally using that. You suppress ಮಾಡಿ, then we are using the chemical fertilizers. So normally now onwards we are supposed to use the biofertilizer itself, so that it is to be even good quality of the food also we are collecting. So now leguminous plant, this is the one thing. Now what we are observing, that later on Azotobacter in the Azospirillum. These are the bacteria which are supposed to be found in the free form. Azotobacter and Azospirillum, these are the bacteria which are supposed to be present in the free on the soil surface. Means not necessary of leguminous plants are there, okay. What about the non-leguminous plants? Non-leguminous plants, they can use this kind of the nitrogen. That is Azotobacter, Azospirillum. These are the bacteria which are supposed to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Then what is the habitat of that? They are free on the soil surface. Soil is mainly free ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. You want to fix ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Only leguminous plants, but these are normally found on the free part. That is why you can observe that whenever rain occurs, just you can imagine that when the rain occurs, soil erosion is to be taking place. When the soil erosion occurs, topsoil is supposed to be getting more amount of the nitrogen, nitrate content. A topsoil nearer over there, then what will happen? Enormous amount of the growth of the plant takes place in the water bodies. It's because of this. So enormous amount of the nitrate enrichment of the soil, then automatically the water area. In the water environment, sufficient or enormous amount of the plant growth, they are considering it as even weeds. So like that, or else even you can see that on the village also, in the field you can observe that when the rain occurs, atmospheric nitrogen fixed in the soil, fixation of the nitrogen takes place in the form of nitrate. This conversion has to be done by the bacteria, but now it has been brought from the rain itself. And now what will happen here? At the same time, during the rainy season, sufficient amount of the growth of the plant which will take place because of they are getting the nutrients. So in this way, free nitrogen is normally, or free nitrate is normally produced by the Azotobacter and the Azospirillum. It can be used by the non-leguminous plants also, and this is going to be used in leguminous plants. Around 10 to 15 kg of the nitrogen is fixed per hectare that what we are observing here. And now Cyanobacteria, Azospirillum, Rhizobium. More bacteria the one day function fixation of the nitrogen, but the region where they are present is different. Leguminous plants, they are present on the free surface of the soil. Okay. So now next we are observing regarding the fungi. Fungi part we are going to observe that. Next one is fungi. Fungi, you can observe that it's a very important part. Earlier also so many fungi are there that what we have observed right from the east. Saccharomyces cerevisiae also we have observed that it is the east. Trichoderma also we have studied that. Aspergillus niger also we have observed that. So these are the fungi which are supposed to be most useful in the food product also. Normally in the preparation of even alcoholic substance also, all these what we are observing that fungi are supposed to be useful. Even though majority of them are harmful also, but now most of them, whatever is supposed to be available, so it is supposed to be useful. Uses what we have studied earlier. So now fungi, very important point we can observe that the mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza, you can observe that myco refers to mycota, rhiza on the roots. Means these are the fungus which are supposed to be available in the roots of certain plants. Our roots jodege mycorrhiza, rhizobium, that is what we have studied that the leguminous plants and type. You bitre. Next mycorrhiza also they are normally found attached to the roots. So now association irodrinda one of the important what we are observing that association. This is also association. So association to the plant. Why they are association? Complete associate what we are observing it as a symbiotic. The word what we are observing that symbiotic. Symbiotic in the use word. So now mycorrhiza, association of the fungus in the roots. Is what we are observing it as a mycorrhiza. Is symbiotic association. Symbiotic association means mutually benefited organisms, all those. Mutually benefited organisms. So now these are normally present are giving the nitrate to the plant body. But now apart from that, you nitrate in turn, they are normally getting the food from the plant. The symbiotic association of the word. Symbiotic association, here these bacteria and even you can observe the fungi. All these are whatever we are studying here, symbiotic association only. Andre mutually benefited organisms. So like that what we are observing here. Symbiotic association, that what we are observing here. Mycorrhiza. So this mycorrhiza, this is what we are observing that the association of fungus in the roots. This is one mycorrhiza, root association, that what we are observing here. Like a group of mycorrhiza, that what we are observing it as a glomus. Group of mycorrhiza is normally found in the genus Glomus. Glomus is a collection of the fungus or the mycorrhiza what we are observing. So many fungus, it is going to be attached to the root. That what we are observing it as a glomus. One is what we are saying as a mycorrhiza. Lactobacillus, we have studied that lactic acid bacteria also. Enormous amount of the lactobacillus species are going to be found like that. Next is, this is the glomus. So fungal association to the roots, that is even considering it as a mycorrhiza. Group of association of the fungal component is considering it as an R. Group of association of the mycorrhiza is called as, that is the genus Glomus of the type. Glomus what we are going to be observing. Right. Next is, what is the role of this the plant? These are normally considered as a symbiotic association. What is the role? This fungal association to the root, they are normally functioning in one or two functions. So because they are involved in the absorption of They are involving in the absorption of phosphorus and minerals. Mineral absorption, what we are observing them. They are normally involving the absorption of phosphorus. Next is the environment. Second one is in turn we are normally observing. No doubt that I told you they are also providing the food. Plant in ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ food material supply ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಇದು minerals ಕೂಡ supply ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. Apart from that, these are also responsible for to control the root-borne diseases. So it is controlling the root-borne disease. It is controlling the root-borne disease. So now, root nidda agao disease anna kadime ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Root-borne disease what we are observing there. Next is they are also control root-borne diseases. Last one what we are observing that. Last one we have to observe that they are normally controlling the salinity and drought. Salinity and drought, what we are observing here. Salinity and drought means what we are observing here. Salinity and drought. Suppose if the soil contains more salt content, it is not allowing to enter inside the root. The soil, suppose fertilizers are more, salt content may be more, salt content ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದರೆ drying of the plant which may take place. It is avoided if that is the globes. And now it is also maintaining the plant body. Suppose if it is severe drought, salinity also, drought also. Drought means now you know that suppose if drought conditions are there, water is not available, that is going to be maintained for few days without water also. In this way, they are maintaining the salinity and drought conditions also, and they are controlling the root-borne diseases also, and they are also helpful for the absorption of phosphorus. That is what we are observing, that symbiotic association. This plant material automatically they are providing the food material. Right. This is what we are observing regarding the fungus. Lastly, we are moving towards Cyanobacteria. We are observing the Cyanobacteria. Lastly, we are observing the Cyanobacteria. Lastly, we are observing the Cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria, we are observing that there are several organisms which are present in the Cyanobacteria, like nostoc, anomaly, then Oscillotarium. These are the examples what we are observing in the Cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria ಮತ್ತು bacteria ಗೆ difference ಏನಿದೆ? Cyanobacteria, they are normally containing certain pigments. Cyano refers to the pigmentation. It's what we are observing, that Cyanobacteria. The Cyanobacteria are normally present in the both aquatic and terrestrial environment. This is the habitat. They are present in both aquatic and the terrestrial environment. Main function is fixation of the nitrogen. The function is they are able to fix the nitrogen. N2 fixation. Main function is nitrogen fixation. Nostoc, anemona, oscillotarium. These are responsible for the fixation of nitrogen. Right? And now, specific target, what we are observing that some of the blue-green algae, this is commonly called as BG algae, blue-green algae. Some of the blue-green algae, like the nostoc, they are helpful. They are present in the aquatic. Nostoc, they are present in the aquatic. Specific algae, they are normally fixed the atmospheric nitrogen in the paddy fields. Nostoc, they are normally they are present in the aquatic and terrestrial. In the aquatic, specific algae, you can observe that paddy fields, rice variety. Just what we are observing, that it requires water. Enormous amount of water is there. In the standing water itself, we are normally growing the paddy. Anthadralli kuda nitrogen fixation ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. The fixation of the nitrogen takes place in the paddy fields also, because so far we have studied that Rhizobium, Cyanobacteria, Azoospermillum, they are normally fixing the nitrogen in the dry part. But now in the aquatic also nitrogen is able to be fixed. That has been made by the blue-green algae. Blue-green algae is responsible for, like nostoc, is responsible for the fixation of the nitrogen. Followed. So in this way, what we have studied so far: bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria. Bacteria more, Rhizobium, Cyanobacteria, Azoospermillum. Fungi, mycorrhiza. Fungi, what we are observing that the mycorrhiza we have studied that. Function also I told you. And the group of the mycorrhiza that is normally found in the genus Glomus anta kuda word bandide. Cyanobacteria, nostoc, Anabenum, Acelotarium. These are the examples of cyanobacteria. And cyanobacteria are present both in the terrestrial as well as aquatic environment. In the aquatic environment, they are able to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. Atmospheric nitrogen ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ aquatic ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ paddy fields ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. They are normally found in the paddy fields. Right? Okay. So these are whatever we have studied about the biofertilizers. And today many farmers you can observe that they are normally using the biofertilizers so that to replenish the soil nutrients. So because to avoid the, even you can observe that now some of the persons are going to be realizing won't use about the NPK or the chemical fertilizers. Why? Because it is not only polluting the environment, even we can observe that soil also getting more salinity. Soil will kuda salinity concentration is going to be higher. To avoid that one, they are using more and more biofertilizers. Vermiform compost is also there, that is going to be useful, and so many biofertilizers is going to be produced naturally, that bacteria, fungi and the cyanobacteria. Right? What we have studied earlier class also, that is right from the household products, that how they are going to be useful in the industries, how they are going to be useful in the preparation of biogas plant, how they are useful in the sewage treatment process. Lastly, we have observed that the biocontrol agents as well as biofertilizers. So, total microbe chapter, it is comprising 6 hours and 7 videos what we have seen. That is the important one. Around 6 mark question is supposed to be asked in the examination. The need 3 questions are supposed to be asked. Followed. So now, questions you have to solve notes that what we are normally sending to them. Even the college also they are providing, so that suppose if you want PDF also we are supposed to be sending. But now, whatever we have discussed, we have to read out simple, important chapter. For all of you, have a nice day.